Hey, what's up, Crypto Army? I'm Travis, your crypto newbie, bringing you my experiences so you don't learn things the hard way. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, and none of my content should be viewed as financial advice. If you like what my content offers, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications so you get notified when I post new content. It really helps the channel grow and get the content to others that might like it. So today we're going to do a quick recap of the EverGrow AMA. It was about an hour and a half long, so I'm going to try to knock this down into about 10 or so minutes. So I may not hit every single thing that's covered in that AMA. I did put a table of contents in the AMA to help you navigate around, but there's huge chunks of time, especially in the Q&A section, where they go through quite a lot of stuff. I try to put it together into organized blocks of data that I think you'll find helpful. There is a lot of stuff that was covered in previous AMAs. I'll touch a little bit on some of that stuff in case you haven't heard of it, but I do recommend you go check out the AMA. Again, I got the table of contents in there that kind of help it out. The first 15 or so minutes was a pretty good summary by the chairman of the board, or the CEO, Sam. He did a really good job of kind of doing a good intro of what EverGrow Coin's got going on and what's coming in the future. So if you want to watch at least the first 15 or so minutes of that, I've got that laid out in there as well. And then I point out where the Q&A section begins. After that, I touch on a few key points that were helpful, but there's a lot of stuff in an hour and a half. So with that, let's go ahead and jump in. So probably one of the big things that everybody's going to be interested in, they've got 6 exchanges that they're expecting to list in probably the next couple of weeks. Now they're kind of hoping what's going to happen is they get the process laid out for the first one, whether it's Bitmart or one of the other ones, on exactly how tokenomics is going to work, and that'll make it much easier to adopt for all the other exchanges they're looking at. Now they've actually got a total of 11 exchanges that they've kind of focused on at this particular juncture, of which the first 6 are pretty much done, but it'll still take a week or two once they get all the papers signed and they agree on exactly how this is going to work for tokenomics, so that all the rewards are being distributed to everybody fairly and equally based off of your market share. So that's big news. Now that's a lot of exchanges. Now to put it in perspective, for the top 6 of the 11, and again, they've been contacted by dozens of exchanges, but they kind of rack and stack based off of where they are, what's the size of it, and all the strategic thinking on how to roll out all these different exchanges. But $8 billion daily in volume on the top 6. That's ridiculous. That's an insane amount of volume potential with over 80 million users. There might be a couple people that are already bought in that aren't among the 80 million, but more than likely, a lot of people that are on exchanges, they like to stay on exchanges. They don't like all the trouble of Trust Wallet. They don't want to deal with PancakeSwap. They like the consistency of an exchange. So it potentially, at least 79 million of them have probably never heard of EverGrow Coin. But if you think about it, we've only got 65-ish thousand holders right now. That means that out of 80 million potential holders out there, we've got like this much. So that is opening us up to a lot of potential growth in a very short period of time. Now, how long is it going to take to get the 6 exchanges? It could take a while. Now, Sam had mentioned potentially the next couple weeks. 1 to 2 weeks is kind of what he mentioned. After they agree on everything, that's how long it'll take the exchange to actually put things into implementation. Now, if you watch Shiba Inu, you might remember Coinbase talked about listing Shiba Inu, and I think a month and a half went by before that happened. So just because it generally takes 1 to 2 weeks, that doesn't mean it will always take 1 to 2 weeks. So just keep that in mind when we start talking about all these different exchanges. If it doesn't happen in the next couple of weeks, things happen. The exchanges that they're working with are talking about redoing whole segments of their exchange just to make it work for tokenomics correctly. Now, Sam was quick to point out that it's not necessarily because of EverGrow Coin that they're doing this. There's a lot of tokens out there that use reflections, and a lot of tokens want to make sure the reflections work correctly so that everybody's getting a fair distribution. SafeMoon is a great example. They've been complaining about this they've actually got a list on their website of the ones that don't participate in tokenomics the way they would like. So trying to get this right, and their insistence on trying to do it the right way from an EverGrow perspective, is helping to push that along. And with any luck, they'll be the first to sign on the dotted line saying, we're going to be doing this tokenomics our way. And then everybody else in the industry is going to follow suit because that's the right way to do things. Now, Sam also mentioned that it's possible, because once they get this thing worked out as far as exactly how to do this, that we might see all 6 of the exchanges happen right around the same time or within a couple of days of each other. But again, every exchange is going to be a little bit different, but that's potentially huge growth whenever this process of listing exchanges happens. Now, in addition to the up to 11 exchanges that they're working on, they're also working on 5 options for direct purchase of EverGrow Coin with Fiat, potentially right from your wallet. Now, that's awesome. Can you imagine not having to do anything with Binance Smart Chain and you just buy EverGrow Coin? Skip out all the steps, all the additional fees, and just go straight to the EverGrow Coin. That'd be a game changer because it makes it super easy to use. That's like buying stablecoin or Binance Smart Chain if you're in Trust Wallet. It's easy. Now, I don't know that it's going to work the same on all platforms. There wasn't any discussion of whether it'll be different on iPhone versus an Android because there are differences just on phone systems. Potentially super simple to be able to buy EverGrow Coin with just one transaction. So that's a game changer as far as making it extremely easy for all potential holders to buy EverGrow Coin. Now, one other big update, and they didn't even really announce it, but if you click on the buy now on their website, the swap is live. So now you can also buy BNB BEP20 here. Now, it's not available in the US. So if I click on this button here, it's going to tell me that I can't buy it in the US. BNB is currently not available in the United States. So that's one limitation, at least from my perspective, with using it like this. But again, it's in work. Now, you might be in a country that this just works and you can buy BNB. Now, I'm not sure whether this is BNB, the Binance Smart Chain version, or actually just BNB, but once you get it into your wallet, it's easy to swap between BNB and Binance Smart Chain. It's really just 1 or 2 clicks and you can make that process very simple. And the fee is relatively low, if any. The 1 or 2 times I looked at it, it wasn't even a fee, but I wasn't doing large numbers of BNB either, so it might be based on how much BNB. Again, I haven't used this, it's brand new, and it currently doesn't work in the United States, so let me know in the comments. If you try this out and it works, how is the process? And if I can, as soon as it's available to do something in the United States that works, I'll do a video on it, make it a walkthrough that you can just follow. Now, the other thing they talked about was the content creation portion of the platform. And again, most of this is ready to go. The content subscription is not going to have any fees or commissions if the content creators get paid in EverGrow Coin, which is awesome as a content creator. If that's something that you do, you're not paying any fees, but you have to be willing to take EverGrow Coin. If you're not willing to get paid in EverGrow Coin, you're going to have to get a 5% commission. Now, and that applies if you're doing fiat or if you're doing stablecoin. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're not using EverGrow Coin, expect that 5%. Now, how does that benefit us if they're not doing any commissions? Well, that portion, not so much. But for all the people that don't want to use EverGrow Coin, that 5% turns into buyback and burn, which means every time they buy, you're getting reflections. Every time they burn, potentially the price is going up. So you're doubling up on the price because you're getting those green candles. Plus you're burning, which means that you're getting more reflections because the supply has been reduced. So that's an awesome function for you as a holder, is that 5% is going to get buyback and burn. Now, so right now they're just kind of going through the testing process for the content creator portion, and then it'll get launched. And they said around a week after that, the same thing's going to happen with the NFT Marketplace, which is also just about ready, just testing. But they don't want to do both at the same time. They want to launch one and then they're going to launch the next one. So expect the content creator to launch here shortly, followed by the NFT Marketplace. Now, a quick update on some of the fees as well. So the buyback and burn, it has about $1 million in it right now. So they're going to divert some of the fee from the buyback and burn over to liquidity. They've seen a benefit of putting those fees into increased liquidity. So they're going to put 4% to the liquidity total of all the fees, and then they're going to put 1% into buyback and burn and 1% into marketing. They need to start doing some marketing because they've had pretty much all their marketing budget going towards liquidity over the last couple of weeks. So they need to put it back into marketing because they don't want that to run dry either. So expect those changes to happen as well. And just for simplicity, this is kind of what it's going to look like. Now they said basically buyback and burn will get 1% and marketing wallet will get 1%. So again, the fees are never going to go up for the total. They said that potentially down the road they might actually decrease the fees, but that's down the road. So don't worry so much about that right now. But they do have a lot of flexibility. But one thing they said is never going to change, just to emphasize this, because I know that's when they're changing fees, everybody's got this concern. This will never change. It will always be 8%. Although I'm sure nobody would complain if they increased it. Now, they didn't say anything about that. I'm just saying, let's be realistic. Everybody worries it's going to go down. Nobody could care less if it goes up. So if they announce sometime, hey, we're going to increase it to 10%, I think everybody would be ecstatic with that. So just being realistic, I'd like to see 10%. But I'm also very happy with 8%. So, let's not push our luck. But those are the kinds of questions that they look at, is to make sure that they've got the right mix. So whether it's the liquidity, the marketing, or the buyback and burn, they're making the adjustments to make sure that this is going to be a successful contract. And that's exactly what we want them to do as the development team for this project. There's a big discussion, and I apologize, we're going to go over our 10 minutes, but I think this is important to know. There's a big discussion that should the developers have access to the contract and be able to do this kind of stuff? And the answer is it depends. If you trust your development team, then absolutely. And I've seen no indication that this development team isn't going to do everything they can to make this project successful. So I think we should trust them to do the right thing for the project, because they've demonstrated that's all they're willing to do at this point anyway, is do the right thing because they want it to be successful. Now, if you don't have a docs team and they have that much control over the contract, you might want to worry a little bit, because they could literally run off with all the money in the contract and there'd be nothing you could do about it because you don't even know who the team is, which is, again, why this team is fantastic, is they're doxed. And repeatedly, they show that they care more about the holders than they do necessarily about the marketing budget or the money that potentially coming into their wallets. If the contract is successful and the token does well, they're going to do well. And I think I almost heard the exact same words come out of Sam's mouth today. Take it right from his words. He understands how that works. Now, as far as the fees for the NFT marketplace, they're 2.5%. And guess what? They go back to buyback and burn. So again, everything's designed to go back and improve the tokenomics of this token. So buyback and burn is awesome. And the more of it they can do, the better, because it creates those green candles and it reduces the total supply, which means you get more rewards. They did talk a little bit about registering for a company. The question was, are they planning on setting up a company in the United States? And I think a lot of people in this project are also in SafeMoon. That was one of the things that SafeMoon did. As an international company, they're assessing where's the best place to open up a company, whether it's an LLC or whatever the terminology, wherever they decide to open this up will be. But they're taking a look at a couple different places. One thing's for sure is they do want to be regulated, so they're looking for a place that has regulation for crypto markets. And there's benefits to that, especially if you're trying to go international. Regulation is not necessarily a bad thing. You want to at least understand the regulations at the most strict place. So wherever the strictest regulation is, you want to at least understand that, because maybe you want to get into that market, whether it's the United States, whether it's the United Kingdom. It doesn't matter where it is, they want to understand it. And it was kind of the same thing for, they were talking about Shuri law to make sure that this particular token is going to be compatible with that. So they're taking all the right considerations to make sure this project is going to be as widespread as possible, which is good. Now, just in case anybody missed it, there are 2 audits that are completed. Both have 0 discrepancies. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't watch all the AMAs, don't watch all the videos that are out there, but there have been 2 audits done, one at the beginning and they just had another one recently, that had 0 discrepancies for this particular contract. So it's a fairly secure contract, which is good, which means that you're not likely to have your money rug pulled by somebody hacking into the contract or exploiting some sort of a vulnerability. That was pretty much it. I apologize I went over the 10 minutes I was looking for. Well, we'll spend just a couple seconds looking at a couple more things. So as far as the price, that's a beautiful sign. It just keeps going up and up and up. And if we look at the 90-day, I mean, you can't argue with that. That's a beautiful chart. Now, one of the benefits is that buyback and burn. Now, they said that they don't actually have to do that as much. And You know, it's funny because Sam had mentioned he was watching my video from yesterday where I was kept going over to the holders and I kept hitting the refresh button and it just kept going up. And that's part of why they don't have to do the buyback and burn as much, is because it self-corrects. When a whale sells $1 million, the holders that continually add this token continue to fill that gap and eat it up. And whenever we see that dip, if we have the extra money, we take advantage and buy the dip and bring that right back up where it was. That's why we see this chart the way that it is. But the buyback and burn also helps to self-correct this as well. So there might have been buyback and burns here that kind of fix that as well. Because there are, you know, these are probably, you know, little whales that are selling off, and that's good. Think about it this way. Every time that a whale sells, whether it's $1 million or $5 million, every time they sell, you're getting 14% of that sale, or your portion based off your market share. So don't worry about the whales. I know that this is a problem on every single project that's out there, but it's a good thing because you're getting constant reflections from those sales, which means that the whale dominance is also getting split up. It's being diversified amongst us, especially the new holders that are coming in as well. It's possible that somebody could come in and drop $2 million on EverGrow Coin and you'll see that huge candle, but that's going to be one massive whale, or comparable to the people that just got into the project. So don't worry about the whales either. Don't worry about the price going down. The buyback and burn self-corrects a lot of that, and we're getting so many holders that it kind of levels off that way as well and fixes the dips. That's all I wanted to cover for today. Hopefully you liked the content. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, stay strong with those diamond hands. Crypto Newbie here to tell you how you can get $2,340 in free stocks. All the links I use in this video are in the description. Sign up for Webull and get 2 free stocks valued up to $2,300. Your first stock is free automatically. Deposit any amount and you get your second stock. Deposit 1 penny and you get your second stock. Total value could be up to $2,300. Generally $5 per stock is what you get. Next we have block fee. Get $10 in Bitcoin just for signing up. Read the fine print. I've got a rewards account. You'll get $40 in Bitcoin, as will I. So you know exactly what I'm going to get and what you're going to get. You do need to deposit $100 to get your $40 in Bitcoin. That's the overview how to get $2,340 just by signing up for accounts.